The first thing is to let yourself fully arrive on your mats without actually doing anything, or arrive as fully as you can right now. And listen to the way that your breathing is. And then bring your attention a little bit more into your inhalations and see if you can follow the inhalation from when it first enters into your nose and then it travels somehow into your trunk. See if you can follow that excursion and the feeling. And gradually, if you keep tuning into your inhales, you might find that your exhales become more and more just as a response to the inhale. So keep tuning into that feeling. When does the inhale start? How does it feel? How does it move? You might even expand it a little bit farther to get a little bit of a richer sensation. And watch it to the end. You could sustain it, maybe hold the inhale for a while. Watch it, and then when you're ready, you let it go, let it float away as it turns into an exhale. And wherever you might feel some resistance, some tightness around that inhalation, just observe that. Notice the quality. Where it feels thick, heavy. Maybe there's little parts of the inhalation that actually do have a certain lightness to them. And of course, meanwhile, let your thinking do whatever your thinking does. And it can be interesting to acknowledge, like, oh, that's what my thinking's doing. That's what I'm thinking about. And then what was I doing? Oh yeah, I'm feeling the quality of my inhalation, following that from the beginning to the end. And then continue, but make it even more. So the inhale's a little bit longer, a little bit fuller. You can use a little bit more muscular energy. So you really feel that expansive ballooning feeling, and see if you can cover more distance, your diaphragm right up to your collarbones, right underneath your armpits. Really go for more and more of an exaggerated inflation. And stay with it once you get in that. Yeah. Really acknowledge that feeling, that holding feeling. And then just wait for the moment where you actually let it go. Maybe even start to retain long enough that you get like that little uncomfortable feeling, like your heart might speed up a bit, like you really want to let go, but you don't yet. Kind of just push to the edge, like if you dive underwater and you want to swim to the edge of the pool, and just go a little bit farther holding. And you might feel, wow, there's some pain, there's some discomfort. And so you see if you can observe that and then watch how it changes. And as that distinction starts to get clearer between the beingness, the sensation of being full and expanded, and then the release, see if you can start to get a bit of that sense of self-recognition. The you on one side and the you on the other side, which is all one you. But there's more than just the feeling in your lungs and in your chest, right? There's this kind of whole way of being related to that feeling. And just listen for that. Start to listen for the other parts of yourself that indicate each side of that beingness, right? So maybe it's in your mouth or your throat, your neck. Could be in other parts of other parts of your musculature, some sort of tensing and then less tensing, or maybe even a tensing and then releasing. And if you do start to get wind of like, oh yeah, I do this little, I do feel that kind of contraction thing happening, see if you can start to exaggerate that, again, on both sides. Exaggerate the doing and then exaggerate the not doing or the releasing. And now in particular, notice your eyes. What changes about your eyes? And then leave all of that. Rest your attention. If you want to, change your position or whatever, do whatever you got to do to just kind of give yourself a little rinse. Now bend your knees and bring your feet to stand. And bring your attention back to your eyes again. And try to let your eyes settle down into their little caves of your skull there. Listen for the back of your skull behind your eyes, making contact with the mat. And then keep your head quiet, but start to do just a very light turning of your eyeballs in their caves, a little bit right, a little bit left, but really take your time. And think about looking at a distant horizon, maybe like a desert landscape, a sea. You can see far and wide. Maybe it's the night sky. Notice what you feel along the back of you when you're moving your eyes in that way. And without straining, check and see how far into your periphery, into your peripheral vision, left and right, so-called vision, that you can go. And does it affect your breathing in some way? The movement of your eyeballs. Now pause with that and give your brain a rest again, like change your position if you need to, whatever you need to do, kind of rinse it off. And now bring your arms like you're hugging yourself, but put one hand on one upper arm and the other hand on your other upper arm. Mm-hmm. And then really gently, like a caress, like a self-hug, slide your hands sort of down your upper arms towards your elbows and then back up towards your shoulders. Just feeling the way that the weight of your hands moves on your skin, on the fabric. Yeah, you can change slightly the position of your hands. You contour more the back or the front of your arm. You can really listen for the shape of your arm along your palm or the inside of your fingers. Mm-hmm. And you could switch the forearm that's on top and keep going a few more times. Yeah. And as you're doing it, again, notice your breathing. Does it have some kind of influence on the movement, the feeling of your breathing? Maybe there's some kind of emotion that bubbles to the surface. And you can do it a little bit more if you want. You could even slide your hands more like wrist, hand to wrist. You could keep going. Yeah. You could be all the way hand onto hand, whatever's comfortable, just this sliding of your hands, caressing of your hands lightly, maybe up to your neck, collarbones, right? No rules, just sort of like encompassing more of yourself. And not a big analysis, just a sensing of the feeling of your skin. So the quality of the movement, quality of the feeling. Yeah, exactly. If you find a place that's particularly nice, you can stay there. Exactly. Sometimes I like to kind of like find a rounded edge, like an elbow, and kind of like feel my elbow in my palm, or just this idea of contouring, right? Like your hands are contouring to the surface that you're passing it on. Yeah, hand on hand, exactly. Hand on finger. And then you can let all that go and bring your legs and arms down for a moment and sense the way that you're resting on the floor. Listen for little nuances of change. Now this time stand your feet and rest your arms over yourself like you're hugging yourself, but just however it's comfortable, maybe like hand on each shoulder blade. Yeah, tight enough of a hug that it feels comfortable in a way that feels nice. Now, bring your attention to your exhalation. Start to exaggerate your exhalation. And listen for if your exhale gives you the feeling of emptying, or maybe it doesn't really give you the feeling of emptying. So just start by listening for that, the quality, the sensation of an extended exhale. And it can be interesting to look into both possibilities. So what does a contraction or an emptying feel like when you exhale? And of course, there's going to be more access in your abdomen because you have this weight, this kind of, your chest is fixed. So it might be almost a deliberate retracting of your abdomen on the exhale. And that's probably going to elicit a particular kind of feeling along the back of you and in your neck, in your mouth. Maybe not. So you just listen to the effect of your exhale being a contraction or a emptying, so that then you can start to play with an exhale that feels expansive. Maybe exhale and let your abdomen balloon. What's that like? And like always with this work, check and see where you can do less. So where's there like expansive quality without kind of like pushing into something? You might find that it actually has less to do with the movement of your abdomen and more something that happens higher up. Now keep your attention on your exhale, but don't do anything deliberately. Just breathe in lightly and follow the excursion of your exhalation from the first moment to the end. Try to withstand the urge to kind of force it or push it or let it just kind of exit. And start to elongate your exhale, so much so that you do get to that sort of like a little bit uncomfortable, like yoza, I'm, exit, 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 exit. You're in that bizarre, ready to inhale, and then let your inhales start to come more and more spontaneously. You play with when you're empty or exited, your breath is gone, and you're ready to inhale, don't yet even just push it past another moment. Don't push it past, move it past another moment. And pause with all that. Bring your attention back to your eyes. And now continue like you were doing before, turning your eyes, but this time turn your eyes to the left. And then turn your head to the left. And as you're looking kind of out on your horizon and down, into the earth, into the ground, you can also let yourself lean a little bit more on your left shoulder, a little bit more your left hip. Exactly. Just a little bit, just a little bit. Yep. And then come back. Make sure that your eyes are the leader, right? So turn your eyes to the right. At some point, you'll feel the accommodation of your head, right, turning to the right. And then you can just let yourself lean a little bit onto your right shoulder blade, just a little bit. Lean a little bit onto your right hip. Mm-hmm. See what you do with your breathing as you start to coordinate these parts of yourself. And then you can connect your whole self a little bit more. So now as you're turning to the right with your eyes and your head and you're leaning a bit on your right shoulder, press a little bit into your left foot. And listen for that sense of the top of you initiates a movement and then the bottom of you completes it. And then come back to the middle. Keep leading with your eyes. Yeah. Left. A little bit into your right foot. Now this time as you come back to the middle, pause for a second so that when you start again, you can now differentiate the top of you and the bottom of you. So you start with your eyes, let's say going to the left, and your head, but start pressing into your left foot. So the bottom of you will turn to the right and the top of you will turn to the left. And you're still trying to initiate from your eyes, the whole process. And then you come back to the middle, you do the opposite. Your right eye leads your head to the right as you're very lightly pressing into your right foot. Notice your inhale and notice your exhale. And then come back to the middle and bring your arms and legs down, rest on your back, and sense the way that your whole self is coming into your awareness. I think this is where empowerment lives. Now come onto your front, and you can put the cushion under your chest if you like, or just lay flat, whatever you feel like at this point. And then let your arms settle where they're comfortable. Yeah, let your head settle. Let your legs settle. And first, just see what you find there in that position. Now put your forehead down on the floor and have your hands palms down, but somewhere near your head, wherever you can, by your head that's comfortable. And feel the pressure on your forehead. And bring your attention back to your eyes. And now see if with your eyeballs you can look deep down through the floor into the earth. And then reverse that, bring your eyeballs back up into your face and then toward the back of your skull. See what else changes for you in those two eyeball positions. Pause, however it's comfortable, for a second. Bring your attention back to your breathing. You have the pad under your chest, so you have some compression there. And so maybe it's interesting to move your chest into the compression, a few rounds of breath. Maybe it's interesting to move the part of you that's not tethered by the cushion. Change along the front of you. And notice the back of you. How does the back of you respond to the front of you? And now when you breathe in, keep your eyes closed and start to look out to the distant horizon and lift your face just slightly forward. Don't strain your neck. Yeah, just whatever's easy, exactly. And then when you breathe out, bring your forehead back down. And maybe we can even add a retracting of your eyes when you're exhaling and your forehead comes back down. So you look out and up and extend your eyes out into the distant horizon. And then bring your eyes down and start to maybe even look down into the floor, maybe in the floor in the direction of your belly button. Mm-hmm. And see how that movement travels from your eyes to your skull to your neck, and then into the top of your rib cage and the bottom of your rib cage, and your low back and your abdomen, and then the front and the back of your pelvis, front and the back of your legs, front and the back of your feet. And then rest your head for a second and come back, do the same movement, but change the breathing. So on your exhalation is when you'll look out into the distant horizon, lift your head. And then you feel where the change happens to inhale as you're looking down. Notice how much of your whole self you get a sense of. Your attention's on your eyes. And then take another little rest. If you want to come on your back, you could rest on your back or rest on your front, whatever you want to do. And think of it kind of like a massage, a light, very light massage across your forehead. Start to turn your skull a little bit so that, yeah, you kind of massage onto one temple, across your forehead and toward the other temple. And when the front of your head is moving, think about how the back of your head responds in relationship. And see what you spontaneously do with your eyes. And then change it up so that you're doing the same thing you were doing on your back, where you're going to lead the movement with your eyeballs in your distant horizon. And don't move your head until your eyeballs take your head into the turn. Keep nice space in your mouth, your belly, the soles of your feet. Follow the movement down yourself. What parts of you join the turning of your eyes, turning of your skull? What parts of you do you kind of skip when you're sensing? You feel how the overall way that you're resting on the floor changes a little bit in the movement. Again, take a little pause, your head, whatever position is most comfortable. A few times press your chest into the pad as you inhale. Think of expansion happening forward and back. Your back is obviously untethered. It can be a widening across the back of your spine, across your shoulder blades, across the back of your neck, the back of your skull. And now we're back to the inhale again. So just like at the beginning, listen for that quality of follow the duration, but also the quality, the inhale and holding feeling, beingness of inhale and holding, and then the beingness of letting that go. And now finally let that go. Rest your brain for a moment. And then do a different movement with your eyes. Look down deep into the floor without straining. And then bring your eyes forward and up. And yeah, you can lift your head again a little bit, right? Feel how the movement travels through you. So this you did earlier, and now when you feel the clarity of your eyes leading your head to lift and leading your head to come back down, you're going to start to detach your eyes from the movement of your head, which might be a little wacky at first. So you just take your time. And try to look up as your forehead comes down. And lead with your eyes, looking down as your head lifts. And listen for the sense of more and more of yourself, even though the movement's being led by your eyes. You still have a sense of your limbs, whole length of your spine. And of course, go slow enough that you don't feel terribly uncomfortable or seasick or whatever. And in fact, you might just play with going like extremely slow. And take several breaths in the process. And if you want to change it up, you could reintegrate your eyes into your head a few times. Let's see what's starting to change in that kind of whole body effect. And how far down deep into yourself can you feel and look? How far out away from yourself? Bring your head back down. Rest for a moment here in your front. And then so gently roll onto your back. Notice the way that you are. Just observe the experience of breathing. And then I'll tiptoe out and leave you to have a little time to yourself. More later.